Okay, so also in pre-production, nowadays there's a very specific craft that requires special detail, and that's visual effects. Visual effects is one of those fields where the person you want dealing with it has to really know what they're doing on set as well as in post. Um, you have a visual effects supervisor on set. That person is an expert with CGI, computer generated images, and special effects, visual effects. Because when you shoot something on set and that shot is going to be manipulated later on the computer, it's sometimes it's not obvious how you should shoot it. So you need a visual effects supervisor on set to tell you, to show you, or to alert you and set up those visual effects shots, like a green screen shot. Okay, so that person has specific knowledge on the digital process that the computer specialist will apply to a specific video, right, to give it that special effect, like say the monster in the background destroying, the Eiffel Tower. Okay, that has to be shot in a very specific way. So you do not want to just sort of wing it, shoot it, and then send it to them afterwards and say, hey, put a monster in there. No, you want to get a visual effects supervisor, someone who's knowledgeable about the process, because it's a very specific process. And then they're going to conceive that shot from beginning to end. They're going to know the entire process so that they can guide you on setting up the shot and getting it done properly on set, so that when it goes to post, they have it's shot properly, they can do whatever they want. Nowadays, for visual effects, there is the room. They have the Unreal Engine, and basically the volume is a big studio, and it's wall to wall high definition, I think 16 or 8K monitors. And on those monitors, they can project, or not project, they can get any 3D image and create any world, any environment that anyone could possibly conceive of. If you need to be on a distant planet, boom, hit a button, you're there. If they need you on underwater, boom, hit a button, you're there. If they need you, any scenario they think of, Unreal Engine can handle it. And the volume can put you in it quickly. No green screen, nothing. It's just everything is projected on the walls from these this would be like an 8K monitor. The monitor is synced to the camera via special cables. There's a special server, a special computer that calculates where the camera is within the studio, where is it pointing, where is the actor, how does the background move in perspective to all three of those. And this requires a huge team of computer specialists. I remember I was taking the training for that, and they said that, for example, for Unreal Engine, they have to have a specialist who knows the software, and they monitor the images in the background pixel by pixel. Think about that. Pixel by pixel, you're managing the image. That's intense. So, your special effects, your visual effects supervisor arranges all of that. They look at the storyboards, they look at all the shots that require those visual effects, And that takes a whole separate set of skills, specialized. I mean, this person's got to know the camera, how the camera functions and operates in the 3D environment. How does the computer translate that? How does the lighting look in relationship to what it's supposed to look like, so that when it goes to post-production, that computer specialist can get the look that the director wants. And that's one area, the visual effects supervisor, that takes a lot of planning nowadays. And it's simply because it's such a specialized field. So, and it's expensive. It's expensive. It's expensive. Those computer specialists do not come cheap. Let me tell you. And it's one of those specializations that's global. Meaning, I can shoot in Atlanta, but my visual effects team could be in Singapore. And they do a great job. Okay? I'm uploading it, sending it to them. My visual effects coordinator coordinates with them, all the aspects, and they send back the final shot. Good to go. All right. You guys are not dealing with any visual effects at this level, but I just felt compelled to let you know that that is a specific side of filmmaking in modern times that requires a certain amount of specialized knowledge, and you don't want to wing it. You definitely want the professional who's done it in that aspect, 100%. You don't want to go with the newbie for your visual effects supervisor. You don't want it. You're going to waste time and you're going to waste money. And you might not even get the look that you want. So, and when you get a good one, you stick with them for every production you do, because they know your work. The only other aspect I would say that would come close to that is when the producer is doing, let's say, a film project that takes them over international borders, and there are technical requirements. For example, the producer of Top Gun Maverick was telling the lab when he was in it, he loves these big projects that cross global, international time zones because he loves the challenge of working on large projects. And so for Top Gun Maverick, he had to find engineers to create a new camera that did not even exist, that they can attach to the side of a fighter jet without compromising the integrity of the jet, right? So they had to design a camera, get the camera approved by FAA, right? The Federal Aviation Administration, so they can attach it and actually fly it. They had to get it approved by the military, right? Then he had to go to each individual country that they were shooting in, and he had to get the camera approved by them as well, so that they can use it in their airspace. So there's a lot of technical and administrative aspects to this, and he loves it. That's what he thrives in. He loves those huge challenges. So this is, like I've mentioned before, this is the type of industry where no matter what your sort of expertise or your skill set in, there's some place for you. Even if you're, like, say, if you're, I want to be an attorney, right? Well, guess what? There are a lot of law shows, a ton of them. What are they? CSI Miami, CSI this, all these shows. And they have lawyers on their writing teams so that as they're writing, they get it correct. I remember hearing about Grey's Anatomy. They have real doctors on their writing staff so that they can get the medical terminology correct. And I found out they were interviewing one of the actual physicians, and she was saying how she enjoys it because it allows her to use her medical knowledge in a very fun environment that she never really imagined her functioning in. So instead of, she's a doctor, she's got her PhD and everything, she can get a job at a hospital tomorrow. It's just that this TV show about doctors in the hospital, they need a medical expert, so they got her, and now she's on their writing team, making all this money, having fun, writing scenes about hospitals. So it's a little something for everyone in this industry. All right, visual effects is one of those things that needs planning. Stunts need extra planning. You never want to put someone's life at risk. You want to bring in your stunt coordinator early. And I would say shots that require modifications on camera gear, or let's say cars or planes or stuff like that, those need special considerations early. You don't want to get on set, get in front of a plane and a jet and think, okay, how do I get this camera on the side of that jet so we can get this shot? No, you got to do all that stuff way in advance. Okay, so you got to have someone with a clear head and knowledgeable about that process, or knowledgeable about how to research that process. And you got to get that person on your team early in the pre-production phase. Okay, matter of fact, you want those people on your team first, like when they're writing it, and you as they're writing it, as soon as you get the director, you got to ask the director, who do you want for your cameraman? Do you have somebody in mind for visual effects, stunts, and all these, time inclusive roles? Do you have someone you're working with or prefer to work with? Or should we bring in our own specialist? Do you want to look at some reels? How do you want to go about this? Because the earlier you get those people on board, the more rewarding the outcome will be. All right. Questions, send them to me.